Why in the world do these things cost so much money, and what can we do to lower their cost? I'm about to tell you right now how you can save some money and get some chicken eggs. So right now, there's a crazy thing going on in America where chicken eggs are so expensive, and people are asking, why in the world are my eggs so expensive? Especially for you people doing carnivore, like a bunch of my buddies. You eat a lot of eggs.
And here we go. I hope you're hungry for nothing.
And just now, they're so expensive when you go to the store to buy them. Like, look at this guy right here. This thing's probably about a $10 egg. Not really, but when I go to the store now, eggs are like 10 bucks, $13. Depending where you live at, it's actually pretty cheap here at $10 for an 18 count, which is still expensive. And so I'm like, why are these eggs so high? And I think I know exactly why they're high. So y'all, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was like, well, Brandon, why do you think that the eggs are so expensive? And I said, this is the exact reason right here.
Price Tracker shows a dozen eggs cost on average $4.15. They were $2.51 a year ago. That is up 65%. And it's expected to get worse.
Egg prices increased nationwide.
Egg prices have risen another 15% over the past month. A dozen eggs right now cost 96% more than this time last year. The most recent spike in prices is being driven by a bird flu outbreak.
Recently, there was what was called avian flu, and a lot of the government and stuff is saying this is why eggs are expensive and all these things. Well, the previous administration, one of the common practices they do when they see a sick chicken is they will kill the whole batch. So like, I mean, one sick chicken with avian flu and they kill 3 million chickens, you know? And why is this bad? Well, I believe it was Joe Salatin. You've probably heard that name before. He would say a lot of times is, why kill the healthy chickens that aren't getting sick from the sick chickens? Maybe they got a good gene in them that's helping them live. Well, the problem is they're killing the chickens. What does that mean? It means less eggs. Is this what's causing our eggs to be like gold coins now? Partly yes and partly no. So chickens during this season, during the winter time, they actually slow down on laying eggs. And a lot of people don't know this. Matter of fact, I didn't know this until I started raising chickens. And I'm like, why are my chickens not laying? During winter, in certain seasons, God's designed these chickens to take a break. And so they go through what's called a molt a lot of times, where they lose their feathers. And in return, they take all that protein and all their nutrients, and they start growing back new feathers, which means they quit laying eggs. Now, what causes this to happen with these chickens? I'm going to tell you right here. So you can see a little bit behind me, but if you look, my field is scattered with what looks to be like white feathers. Even if you look all out here, there's a bunch of white feathers on the ground. And obviously you don't see the black feathers as good, but they're shedding their feathers. And I remember coming out here one day and I'm like, man, it looks like something done ate my chickens. But what it is, these chickens start shedding feathers. And so they're getting ready, they were molting and they're growing back new feathers, which causes them to slow down on laying eggs. So if you combine the few things like avian flu and egg shortages already, okay, and you combine the season time where they quit laying eggs, that makes less eggs, obviously. And so when you have demand is still high, but the supply is now low, this causes these companies to have to raise their prices on eggs so they can continue to meet the demand. And so with higher priced eggs means less people buying as many eggs at one time, which leads to balancing out. But then we're hit with all the cost. And if you're like me, it's hard enough with the prices of inflation rising due to the world today and just really bad choice makers and spenders in our government, unfortunately. Even if you follow along with Doge right now, there is so much fraud and abuse in the spending in our government, and this has caused inflation for a lot of us. But the thing is right here, guys, that if you want to have as many eggs as possible at a lower price, right now our eggs are so expensive because there's less supply. if you're raising chickens and you're trying to get eggs, one thing that you can actually do even during the season months, like the winter time where they're not laying as many eggs, you can actually put a light on your chickens, because what causes your chickens to quit laying is shorter days and shorter daylight. And so with the shorter days, if you put a light on your chickens, 3 to 4 hours extra in the evenings, so like an LED light in your coop, some people want to put heat lamps in their coop, and I've heard of so many bad things going wrong with the heat lamps, so I highly don't recommend that. But put some heat lamps in your coop. The guineas are mad, but avoid putting heat lamps in your coop, because that can catch fire, and I've seen too many coops burn down that way, so I don't recommend it. But if you put an LED light up in your coop, you can actually extend the daylight for your chickens, and they will keep laying eggs. And so, which means more money in your pocket, because it's saving you money from having to go buy expensive eggs. This is one like need to know thing, because every year I hear the conspiracies, and sometimes, I mean, I get caught up in them too, where you're wondering, well, is it the chicken feed? Is that the reason my chickens quit laying eggs? Did they put something in the chicken feed? And that may be true, considering that, you know, a lot of times they don't give you high quality chicken feed. It's garbage at times. And so if you've ever wondered that, you can click this video I made right up here about how to feed your chickens. This was a specialty way we tried. It worked. It may not work for huge flocks like of 70 to 100, but if you have a smaller little chicken group of chickens, man, this may work for you. But if you change what you feed your chickens, that can help as well. So during the winter times, give them some cracked corn. That'll heat them up when they go to bed at night. Matter of fact, give them in the evenings. So that's exactly it right there, guys, is that there's less supply of eggs, and it's causing the price to go up because of the demand is still there for all the eggs. Yeah, guys, that's why chicken eggs are so expensive, okay? There's not enough eggs out there. One, because our government doesn't want to be smart. Bad practices, that's my personal opinion. And they want to kill off a million chickens, and they're like, I don't know why the eggs are so high. But then on top of that, the season time too. It's already a really bad season for laying eggs, considering a lot of chickens slow down on their egg laying. So all those things really add up. But if you want your chickens to keep laying eggs during the winter, all you got to do is add a light into your coop, LED light. Don't put a heat lamp, you'll kill your chickens because it could catch fire. It's happened a lot of times. Just a LED light for about 4 hours after the sun goes down inside the coop. The chickens will stay up a little bit longer. They'll keep laying eggs and they'll be happy. Now, keep this in mind. Each chicken has only so many eggs it can lay in its lifetime. And so you speed up its egg laying process if you keep them laying. And if you keep them laying later on in its life cycle, it's going to eventually stop laying eggs because it's done laid all the eggs that God's designed for it to lay, you know, in its body. And so if you're really just trying to maximize egg production, that's the best way to do it. But if your chicken's like a pet, you like it laying eggs, you know what I mean, then let it naturally do what it's naturally supposed to do. You know, both sides of the argument there. Let it naturally do what it needs to do, and it can lay when it's time for it to lay, and it can rest when it's time for it to rest. But these are my personal opinions that are, I believe, definitely true. Can feed play a part in your chicken not laying eggs? Yeah, that's a possibility. But right now, eggs are so expensive because there's not enough supply. What can you do about this? Start raising chickens yourself. You know, we didn't struggle so bad when the price of eggs started going up because we have chickens. So when everybody else is on an egg frenzy, like, oh, there's no eggs in the store, or the egg prices are like $15 for an 18 count, we don't have to freak out about that because we got eggs. So it's as easy. You could do this wherever you're at. If you're thinking of raising chickens in an urban area, I would recommend just getting hens. Don't get a rooster. Roosters are loud, and they don't just crow in the morning. They crow all day long. They're very, Yeah, you don't need a rooster. They're very, very vocal. Why do we have a rooster out here on the farm? Well, it's more open air. It's not an urban area, and it also, he guides the hens, and they got like a master to look to. You know, he's like, come on over here and eat, girls. So that's why we have a couple roosters. But I don't recommend getting one if you want to raise chickens in an urban area. You could take a little small chicken coop. Click this video right here. We'll show you one you could actually get that'll work for like 4 chickens. But just a little coop would do it for you. You got your own supply of fresh butt nuggets every single day. It's actually pretty cool. So thanks for watching this video. If you guys really enjoyed this, I just want you to like and subscribe to this video. And so you may see more stuff that comes out. We really appreciate you guys watching the channel. Y'all are amazing, and we'll see you in the next one. See you later.